What's up? I'm Noelle at Noelle's Notions, and this is Fame by the Flame with Kennedy Wrose.
What's up, world? What's up? What's up? What's up?
You're a man of the people, and specifically a man of Sacramento. Yeah, 916 baby. So your single "Can't Say Myself,"
Right.
The music video is awesome, and you highlight so many points of Sacramento. How did you, choose those places? How did you kind of get that to come to fruition?
So my video director is SL Media, Jesse Delgado with SL Media, and I knew I wanted to shoot something for that song. I feel like it was one of the most personal songs that I had on that album. So obviously, if I'm from Sac and it's so personal, I have to showcase Sacramento in that. And we thought of an idea to have it in like some art gallery, and I just recently had a show at Soul Collective, and I was like, oh, I think this would be like a perfect spot to have it. And we hit them up and they were on board. And so we got a bunch of shots in there and then went all around like towards Broadway and up 21st Street. And it came out. I mean, it was magic.
Yeah, definitely. And for those of you who haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's really cool. And, it's being from Sac and living here all my life, watching that video, it's amazing how much you're like, whoa, I remember that place, but it didn't look like that,
Yeah.
Like the video definitely makes things come to life.
Right. That's why I got really big on visuals starting last year. Like I knew I had zero to no YouTube presence. But I had music out, but no YouTube presence. So I was like, I know I need to shoot something. And I had singles that I felt like these would be perfect to shoot for. But it scared me to death because like, I love the writing portion of music, but when it comes to creating like a music video, my mind just doesn't work like that really. But my video director was great, and he was like, even if you just have like 15% of the pie, I'll go ahead and make up the rest of it. And he did, and it was awesome.
Well, it definitely worked out, 2 parts to the whole, and now you have a killer music video. And people can find that on YouTube.
We do too, yeah.
And what's your channel?
Kennedy Wrose, so Kennedy and then WROSE.
Perfect. So go watch that now. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of some of your past works, I know that you just had the year anniversary of your album Abstract Heart.
Right.
Yeah. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So that album, I released a mixtape in 2013, and that was like my first ever kind of like album or mixtape. And I put that out really to just see how people would respond to it and just to get something out there. And it didn't quite do the numbers that I had hoped that it would. But I realized that a lot of it was due to my lack of marketing. So I was working on Abstract Heart and realized like, man, I really think that this album is genius and I really need to market this well. And so I met up with an entrepreneur here in Sac, sat down, and he was like, man, you got to get into the Sac music scene. Cause I wasn't really doing any shows or anything. This was in like 2015 or so. So I started doing shows heavy, getting in competitions and just getting that ball rolling, and then was finally able to release it. And it's like 14 songs. It's on, all music platforms. And it's like my baby, my like foundation where like everything just kind of grows from here.
Yeah. And it's on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes,
Tidal. Yeah. Anywhere you get music, it's on there. I think Pandora might be the only thing I'm not on.
Right.
But everywhere else, you can check it out on there.
Cool. So fans can find your sound pretty much everywhere and anywhere at this point. Right. And you guys should check it out. It's a bomb album. And again, it's close to your heart.
Yeah.
And so, you're talking about how, when you first got into the Sac music scene, how you had the advice to kind of actually fully dive into it. And, I think that's come fully to fruition now where, you've been in SNR in June, right? Sacramento News Review. Right. You've had interviews done by Hoff is Better. You've also just did a segment with DJ Oasis on Good Day Sacramento, right? So, tell us a little about that. It kind of went 0 to 100.
Yeah, well, I just had a kid June 3rd, and
Congrats, by the way. He's adorable.
Thank you. And I thought things were really going to slow down. Like I was like, all right, I'll take like June and July kind of off just to adjust to being a new dad, but really things just really started spinning. And I think the Sammys really brought things out. And if you guys don't know, it's like Sacramento's version of the Grammys. It's an award show for all local artists. And so when I got 6 nominations on there, it was it put me in front of people and eyes that didn't know who I was. And so a lot of things just started rolling after that. And then First Fest in May, that was huge. Shout out to Danielle on that one. A lot of things were rolling because that was my first festival.
Yeah.
And
First Fest was awesome.
Oh, so good. I wish we could just do that every weekend. But those two things were like really huge for my career where like things really started happening. SNR started really paying attention and really getting involved and showing a lot of interest and getting linked up with DJ Oasis. That guy's great. And so things have just really been moving since then. Yeah,
well, definitely, Sacramento's put the spotlight on you.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of stuff come out recently, like you said, and I don't see the momentum slowing down in you, so that's really great.
Neither.
Fingers crossed that we can see you perform at Hoff Day. I know Fame by the Flame and illTV will be there shooting some footage, so hopefully you can get some more glimpses of you performing out there. So back in 2004, which I know, let's go way back, way back, throwing it. You had given yourself the name, The Gift, right? Now, what does that stand for?
To heaven and earth, God is forever the truth. And that was like my first kind of like introduction to the game. And, I ran with it for a while when I was just kind of doing some local stuff before I even came out with an album, but I was just doing some shows with it. But when I came out with that album in 2013 called Destined to Rule, just before that, I was like, you know what? The name The Gift doesn't really fit. And if you Google The Gift, I mean, like 100 things come up, you know? There's like a movie, there's like 1,000 rappers and artists called The Gift. And so I was like, I need something different. And then my wife and I were talking, and then we came up with Kennedy Wrose, which there's a whole backstory to that.
Yeah, Kennedy is you said your middle name.
A middle name,
and it was dropped. I believe you have put out a little bit of bio on yourself saying that it was released, your middle name, because that way you wanted to kind of have a standing of like who you are, not hot, not cold, but this is like definitely you. And that's why you brought your middle name about. Right.
It was like for a greater part of my life, I just was in this like really awkward gray area and like always on the fence. And it's just no place to live. Like you just literally get nothing done. And I was like, you know what? I want to go after my dreams, and I want to go either all into this or not at all. Like I either want to be up or I'm down. So Kennedy Wrose is really how I rose out from being in the middle to where like my yes is yes or my no is no. And
well, definitely a defining moment as an artist, kind of picking that.
Oh yeah. And it's like welcoming everybody on this journey. The funny part about it is that, so there's a W in Rose, because I found out a country band in the 80s called Kennedy Wrose, R-O-S-E.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so for copyright reasons, I had to throw on the W.
Yeah. Well, I know I kind of brought us way back. The reason I did so, though, is because, that name that you first came up with really kind of, to me, solidified your connection with your spirituality. You want to tell us a little bit about how your spirituality plays into the songs that you put out now and, propels you forward for the music you create?
Well, I'm a truth teller, and I believe that just God's given me this platform and this talent to really just like give truth to people. And I'm like a dream awakener as well. And I just want to like awaken people to like whatever that is inside of you, whatever is that passion that you have, like go after that thing. Like every human has so many desires in their heart. And I just want to be like a catalyst to kind of help people bring those out, pursue them, see what that feels like, see what that looks like. And just knowing that like a relationship with God is a really cool thing. And it's really how we were designed. And it's done so much for my life, my marriage, my music. And I just really want to just put truth into my music and let people just get that into their minds. And I put it in like really catchy ways. Like I'm a really big like punchline rapper. So I come up with these like really witty lines of like truth in hopes that it gets stuck in your head and it starts repeating. Like, those songs that like, oh, that song just stuck in my head all day, But like, if you have truth telling itself in your head all the time, then my wish is that then eventually becomes like your reality. And it gets out some of those lies that are in there and kind of gets you going of like, I want to pursue more truth because I like how my life is navigating now.
So what advice do you have for people who are, just now kind of reaching out and finding their truth? Because I know you didn't start out doing hip hop, and
right.
now you're, on the top of the, hip hop pyramid right now with everything you have going on.
Thank you.
So, what advice do you have for those people, who are trying to seek their truth?
You just got to get the ball rolling, you just start. Just start and research. I really feel like we don't have a resource problem. I think we have a research problem. I know so many Instagrammers that people go crazy for, but they're living in these 1-bedroom apartments. They're poor. You don't have to have money in order to pursue that thing that you want. A lot of times you just gotta be able to just research and realize what fears do I have in me and what do I need to get rid of. And one powerful thing that I like to do with some friends that I trust and are close to me is that I say, what are my weaknesses? What do you see that is my weakness, and where do you see is my strength? And so that really helps me narrow down okay, what areas do I need to focus on, and what areas are also that I really need to focus on. So get around people that are also hungry, because it's so contagious. I've always raised to believe if you want to kill giants, you got to hang out with giant killers.
Yep.
So that would be my advice to any and everybody. I
know that you have a lot of inspiration from kind of indie bands and some indie sounds, and listening to your music, you definitely have. I think you said in one of your lyrics East Coast flow with the Cali twist.
Yep.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So, how did you come up with, finding your pathway? I mean, like we talked about earlier, you didn't start out in hip hop, but you found your way, through spirituality, through your friends, and just, through the experiences that you had. But how did you kind of come up with your particular sound as a hip hop artist?
It was interesting, growing up with my friends, I was one of the only guys that I just really gravitated towards East Coast hip hop. Okay. And I love the lyricism. I love the punchlines. West Coast was doing their thing, but I just feel on a lyrical note, the 90s and early 2000s, which is my gold. I feel the golden era for hip hop. I was listening to just so much East Coast music and putting my friends dude, you need to listen to this. A lot of these West Coast guys are really cool, but also see there's a lot of other people doing some really great things. And that lyricism and just being witty and just hearing words that resonated with me. I wanted to put that into my music. But at the same time, I love California. I just feel we're the best state in the U.S.
We are. And West Coast, the best coast.
And we're so innovative, and a lot of things that start here get replicated around the country and around the world. So I love just the infusion of just the lyricism from the East Coast, and just my love and my California vibe just clashing, and then this is my music.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, a lot of your songs, your lyrics, what I admire about your style is your lyrics never repeat themselves, in the sense of they're always very, speaking truth. They're very, different and abstract. Shout out Abstract Heart.
Yes.
And, it's always something different. One song doesn't sound similar to the other.
Yeah. So I have this EP coming out at the end of summer, early fall 17. Okay. And it's called the Bay album, Bay standing for Blunt About Everything. And I think there's a lot of potential on that. There's 8 songs, but I just really condensed it and cut the fat and kept the meat on that one. Yeah. So I feel there's a lot of radio potential, a lot of music video potential songs on there. I have Brandon P on there. He's been really doing his thing. Hoff has been talking about really doing some stuff with him. He did a lot of the production on there, and I'm really excited for that. So I'll start doing music videos coming up for that as I get the project back, but we're so close.
One final question I have is, we just talked about your past album, the 1-year anniversary of Abstract Heart.
Right.
Talked about some new stuff that you have coming out, Bay album. And I am really curious about future collaborations that you have in the works. Are you looking forward to working with any other local artists in Sacramento, or, any other local artists in California for that matter?
Yeah. So, you recently just had Sparks Across Darkness on here. Yeah, me and him. yeah, me and him have been talking a lot. We've been collaborating a lot on shows. I'd be interested to see like what a song with us would sound like.
Yeah.
I want to do more stuff with Brandon P. I love Hobo would be a really dope collabo. A bunch of like those like SAC artists that like I want to get with, like those guys are just like so good, and guys like I like really look up to, and especially like in their careers. So in collaborations, I would love to do more stuff with them.
Cool. All right, artists. So SAC artists, DM him.
Yeah, let's work.
Well, Kennedy, thank you so much for being on Fame by the Flame. I'm such a fan. I love all your stuff. I love, how direct you are. And like you said, how you just speak your truth. I think it's really awesome and refreshing for the hip hop industry specifically.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, do you have any final thoughts for your fans out there?
Man, keep pursuing your dreams. Go after the things that you want. Get it in there. Get around some people that are hungry. Get yourself in a community of people that are just all about just pursuing truth and getting what is in here out. I love you guys. You will be seeing more of me. So I'm Kennedy Wrose. Thank y'all.
All right, guys. Well, there you go. Community is best, and Kennedy Wrose is better. So this is Noelle at Noelle's Notions with Fame by the Flame and Kennedy Wrose. Until next time.